A young woman visits a mysterious island, but what she finds there will change her life forever. A brave wolf and a tiny lion risk everything to protect her. Can love and courage really save them all?
Eyes on the target.
At the beginning of the movie, a group of animal traffickers breaks into a zoo and secretly steals a lion cub. They load the poor animal onto a plane and take off to an unknown location. We're then introduced to the main character, a 25-year-old woman named Alma.
I practice 20 hours a week. I don't want it to be great. I want it to be perfect.
She's an aspiring pianist and a passionate animal lover. One day, she travels to an island for a vacation, which turns out to have belonged to her late grandfather. Alma was adopted by the old man when she was a child and always considered him her true grandpa. After his passing, she inherits the island. When she arrives, she's greeted by Uncle Joe, the island's caretaker.
Your grandfather didn't do things like other people.
There's a charming little hut on the island, peaceful, cozy, and perfect for a relaxing stay. That night, Alma watches some of her grandfather's old videos and becomes emotional.
Because you're the only one who knows what's good for you.
In one of them, he mentions that a wolf named Snow appeared on the island a few years earlier and the two became close friends.
Here she is.
In the video, her grandfather encourages Alma to find Snow and befriend her, saying she makes wonderful company. That same night, the plane carrying the lion cub encounters a severe storm and crashes on the island.
Mayday! 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 West emergency landing!
Alarmed, Alma steps outside to investigate, but since the island is quite large, she doesn't find anything. The next morning, two people, Charles and Ellie, arrive on the island and set traps to capture Snow.
You're the best. You're the best tracker in the history of track.
They own a wolf park and are desperate to catch the intelligent wolf for themselves. After some time, Snow gets caught in one of their traps, but she cleverly manages to escape.
That way.
She swims across to the other side of the island where she encounters Alma. At first, Alma is frightened, but she soon remembers her grandfather's words about Snow's gentle nature. She calms down, helps free Snow from the remaining net, and sets her free. After some time, Alma reaches the site where the plane has crashed. Luckily, the lion cub is unharmed thanks to a soft landing on a massive bird's nest. Just then, the mother bird returns and accidentally knocks the cub down, right into Alma's arms. Seeing the frightened little creature, she gently takes him home. Around the same time, Snow arrives at Alma's place with her own cub. Alma is stunned to find herself sharing her house with 3 wild animals. She immediately calls Uncle Joe,
What the hell is that?
It's one of Grandpa's girlfriends.
who advises her to inform the authorities since the animals could be dangerous.
You can call the wildlife people, they'll take care of it.
He also mentions that a pair of park rangers will be visiting soon to investigate the lion cub's whereabouts. When the rangers arrive by boat, Alma decides to hide the animals, knowing how cruel zookeepers and traffickers can be.
The plane was carrying a lion cub bought by a circus. We haven't found it yet.
She lies to the rangers, claiming she hasn't seen any wild animals nearby, and sends them away before returning home. To her surprise, Alma finds Snow feeding both her cub and the lion cub together. Relieved, she realizes she won't have to worry about their diet anymore. As days pass, the two cubs grow closer and become inseparable, while Alma loves and cares for them as if they were her own children.
You're so excited.
She names the wolf cub Jack and the lion cub Dreamer. Meanwhile, Uncle Joe remains unaware that the animals are still living on the island.
The animals, I trust that was dealt with quickly.
Yeah.
Months go by, and the cubs grow larger and stronger. Alma takes them on evening walks and shows them her favorite spot, the same place she used to visit with her grandfather at night. Snow continues to care for the 2 young cubs, making sure they're always well fed. Unfortunately, one day while Alma is away for a music audition, the Wolf Rangers return to the island. This time, they successfully capture Snow and take her away. Meanwhile, Alma gets selected for the job and is overjoyed. However, when she returns to the island, her happiness quickly turns into shock. She finds her house completely trashed by the animals.
What did you do?
They've done it out of extreme hunger. Worried, Alma searches everywhere for Snow, but can't find her. Left with no other option, she prepares food for the cubs herself. Because of the added responsibility of caring for them, Alma is forced to quit her new job.
Good night. Don't move.
One morning, Uncle Joe arrives to check on her, and when he discovers the animals are still living there, he becomes furious.
What the?
No. Okay, I can explain this.
He insists they must be taken to a zoo immediately. Alma pleads with him, explaining that it was her grandfather's wish for her to be close to animals. She also describes the terrible fate the cubs would face if they were sent to a zoo.
You are a piece of work. You know that?
Hearing her heartfelt words, Uncle Joe finally understands and hugs Alma with affection. From then on, most of Alma's time is spent feeding the cubs and giving them the best care possible. Even though she no longer has a job and gets little time to play the piano, she feels genuinely happy. She deeply loves her animal companions, and they return that love in their own way. A year passes, and the cubs have now grown into full-sized adults. Uncle Joe brings meat and other essentials from the city for them, but he's too scared to go near the animals himself.
That ain't funny.
I have things under control.
He often warns Alma that the animals might no longer be safe now that they're grown, but Alma refuses to give them up. She's made up her mind to stay on the island forever, caring for her two beloved friends. One ordinary day, a mother and her daughter approach the island in a boat. The little girl spots some beautiful flowers near the shore and asks her mother if they can go there.
But please.
Meanwhile, Jack notices the new humans and curiously approaches them. Alma, who is nearby, senses the danger and rushes to stop him, but she slips and hits her head on a rock, knocking herself unconscious.
No, stop!
The mother and daughter, unaware of what happened, leave the island without ever seeing the animals. Jack and Dreamer rush to Alma's side and try desperately to wake her up, but she doesn't respond. They howl for hours, seemingly calling for help, but no one comes. As night falls, the two animals stay close to Alma to keep her warm. The next morning, Uncle Joe calls Alma several times.
I knew something was wrong.
But when she doesn't answer, he feels something is wrong and heads to the island. Upon arriving, he assumes the animals have attacked her and immediately calls animal control.
So you better get over here and bring the police with you.
However, when he finds Alma lying unconscious with the animals protectively beside her, he realizes his mistake and deeply regrets calling for help. In the next scene, Alma is taken to a hospital. The doctor tells Uncle Joe that if the animals hadn't kept Alma warm through the night, she likely would have died from hypothermia.
Without them, she'd be dead.
Meanwhile, Animal Control delivers Jack to Ellie and Charles.
Hey, buddy.
After examining him, they discover that Jack is actually Snow's offspring. On the other hand, Dreamer is sent to a zoo run by a cruel man named Alan and his kind-hearted young son, Rafa.
You look stressed.
Alan often mistreats the animals, but Rafa forms an immediate bond with Dreamer, visiting him regularly to comfort him. Sadly, after just a few days, Dreamer is heavily sedated and forced to perform in circuses. Having spent his entire life peacefully on the island, the sudden cruelty and confinement begin to take a heavy toll on him. Little Rafa gets upset, so he always does his best to make the animals feel happy elsewhere. Alma finally wakes up and immediately asks Uncle Joe about her pets.
I'm sorry, Princess, but they had to dart the animals and take them away.
He tells her they're in a safe place. Hearing this, Alma feels relieved, but still misses them deeply. Once she's discharged, she heads straight to Animal Control and learns that Jack has been taken to a wolf park, while Dreamer has been sold to a cruel circus.
You say that you protect animals, but you don't.
Enraged, Alma yells at one of the officers, but Joe calms her down and takes her away. Later, she calls Ellie to ask about Jack's well-being. Ellie tells her that Jack is doing great at the park, has made lots of friends, and is being well cared for.
He's getting his wild nature back.
Hearing this, Alma feels somewhat comforted but still can't stop worrying about Dreamer. Over the next few weeks, Alma visits every circus in the city asking about Dreamer, but no one gives her any information.
We don't have real lions here.
Meanwhile, Alan is making a lot of money from Dreamer's performances, and the lion quickly becomes a star. However, no one knows his real name. They just call him Star Lion. One day, Dreamer's circus crew passes by the wolf park, and Jack immediately recognizes his best friend. Without hesitation, he breaks free from captivity. When Ellie discovers this, he's shocked and quickly realizes that Jack must be searching for someone. Soon after, Jack reaches the circus, where Dreamer is held and cleverly frees him from his cage. The two are overjoyed to reunite after months apart and play together for a while. Furious, Alan grabs his tranquilizer gun and prepares to go after the lion.
We have to call a cop.
Rafa tries to convince his father to leave the poor lion alone, but the greedy Alan refuses to listen. Fearing something bad might happen, Rafa decides to join him in the search. In the next scene, Ellie learns from a friend that Jack has escaped captivity to find his friend, the lion. With both animals missing, a citywide alert is issued that evening. Ellie goes to the island and informs Alma about everything, telling her that the authorities and hunters are now after the animals.
Right. So you came all this way to tell me that I can help you get your wolf back?
When Alma grows worried, Ellie explains that they had placed a tracker inside Jack. However, due to a weak signal, the animal's exact location is unknown. The last known sighting placed them near a forest. With that information, Alma and Ellie decide to go search for Jack and Dreamer. Meanwhile, the two animals wander through the city, causing residents to stay locked inside their homes. At one point, Jack and Dreamer even sneak into a department store in search of food. Because of this, the police authorize residents to shoot the animals on sight. A few hours later, the pair reaches the forest where they encounter Alan and Rafa.
Dad, please.
The greedy circus owner aims his tranquilizer gun at Dreamer, but Jack jumps in the way and takes the hit meant for the lion. Jack immediately collapses.
Shit.
Horrified, little Rafa rushes to his side after Dreamer runs off. He removes the dart and the tracking device, then gives Jack a pill to counter the tranquilizer's effects.
Take that. You're gonna be all right.
Later, the father and son head to a nearby bar, where they're approached by Ellie and Alma, who tracked them down using the signal.
Your wolf? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Alan, unaware of the tracker's existence, insists he doesn't have it and sends them away. Rafa pretends to go to the bathroom, but secretly tells Ellie and Alma everything.
Do you know something?
I know where he is.
He then leads them to the forest, where they finally find Dreamer. Following the lion, they reach a small shed where Jack is resting. Thanks to Rafa's quick thinking, Jack has already regained consciousness. Just then, the police arrive at the scene, prompting Alma to guide the animals through a hidden path. Only a stream of water separates them from her private island. Alma desperately wants to get there because the police have no jurisdiction on the island. Unfortunately, there's no boat, so everyone has to swim across. Jack, being a wolf, immediately dives in, but Dreamer hesitates. He's terrified of water.
You don't have to sacrifice yourself for us.
Alma pleads with him to come, but Dreamer turns around and heads back into the jungle. Moments later, as a heartbroken Alma and Jack swim toward the island, a gunshot echoes through the forest, suggesting that Dreamer might be gone. Reaches the island, she breaks down in tears. But suddenly, Dreamer appears. He's alive! It turns out he went back into the jungle only to distract the policeman. Seeing him safe, everyone rejoices. In the final scene, Alma performs a piano concert for visitors who've traveled to her island by boat. Dreamer and Jack sit beside her, living happily as one family. The movie ends with Alma sharing the heartwarming story of her beloved pets.
I hope that their story reminds us to defend all animals' rights to freedom.
And that's the heartwarming story. If you enjoyed it, drop a like to help more people see this video. Don't forget to subscribe to support our work and stay updated with more amazing stories.